Hi everyone, Isha here. So, Circuit of the Americas in Texas, the Lone Star State. What an interesting Grand Prix it was today. Now, before I get into everything else I want to talk about, breaking news, Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton have been disqualified from today's results, and that actually shakes up much of the standings. So, I'll get into that later. But first off, let's talk about McLaren, specifically Lando Norris. Now, this was Lando's 100th race in his professional Formula One career. So obviously congrats to him for that. And then on top of that, he put up an amazing performance as well. Looking at that first turn on that first lap where he took the lead from Charles Leclerc and then held on to it for quite a while as well. That was really amazing to watch. And then later on, when he kept fighting, he kept trying to get those higher points as well. It was really, really interesting to see. And then in the end, he finished in third place. However, because of the disqualification of Charles Leclerc, who was in second place, Lando is now bumped up to second place. So looking at Lando's teammate Oscar Piastri, unfortunate situation for him today. He did DNF as well as Esteban Ocon because they both had a collision earlier on in the race. Now, turning towards Red Bull, obviously Max Verstappen, the winner. No surprising piece of information there, but something that I was a little surprised to see today was that it seemed like Max was a bit slower than usual, or he had less pace. Now, there could be a few reasons to that. One, maybe it's because Red Bull was trying to only perform at 80-85% of their maximum speed and skill set, specifically for Max Verstappen. Or two, it could be that the other teams and drivers are finally catching up. Now, we know that the Ferraris have brought upgrades, the Mercedes have been upgraded, the McLarens have been upgraded, and we're seeing evidence of that as well because they are starting to put up more of a fight. And as we see, Max Verstappen is no longer 20 seconds ahead of whoever's in second place. I feel like had Lewis Hamilton been given a few more laps, he might have been able to take the lead from Max Verstappen. Now, that might be me getting a little too optimistic, but it's putting into words the idea that the other teams are now really up there. Like, they're really competing, they're really putting up the fight. And, on the Grid Network show earlier that I was a part of tonight, we brought up the question of, will Lando Norris be able to take a win by the end of the season? Now, I personally don't think he will. As we saw in today's performance, he did an amazing job with the upgrades that they have and then his own performance. But I personally feel like it's too early to say that. And I feel the same way for Hamilton and the Mercedes as well as the Ferraris. They've brought all these upgrades. They're putting up an incredible job. But I feel like this was the last chance they had this season, especially Hamilton, to potentially take a win from Max Verstappen. In today's race, maybe the track didn't suit the Red Bulls that much, or, a bunch of other reasons. But I feel like today was the only chance they did have to beat Max Verstappen. And I think that for the rest of their season, it's just going to be a Max Verstappen winning streak. But another big congrats to Max Verstappen for joining the 50 race wins club now. So he's in there with Sebastian Vettel and Michael Schumacher and Alain Prost as well. So, big congrats to him for that. And now looking at his teammate, as well as Hamilton once again. So Sergio Perez is second in the driver standings, right behind his teammate. And third, we have Lewis Hamilton. Now, Hamilton, we know, is trying to score more points to get that second place finish. But after today's unfortunate disqualification, will he be able to take that second place from Sergio Perez? Now, if Hamilton keeps up the performance from today, and obviously doesn't get disqualified again, and Sergio Perez does not put up great performances, it might be possible for Hamilton to take that second place position. But with about 4 races remaining in the season, I think it's going to be really difficult at this point. Now, to focus on another team, we have the Ferraris. So obviously, unfortunate bit of situation for Leclerc, as he did finish in second with quite a few points, but is now disqualified. And, his disqualification put Lando Norris higher than him. And what it also did is put Lando Norris higher than him in the driver's standings as well. So now, Sainz is considered to have finished the race before him as well, because Sainz is now also on the podium in third place. And going back to the driver standings, we have Logan Sargent, the only American-born driver on the grid right now, who has finally scored his first points of the season. Now, obviously, they weren't scored in the way that he probably wanted them to, but considering that this was his home race, and that he now has points at least, and he has also broken sort of like record in that after about 30 years, he's the first American to score points in Formula One. I think it's about 30 years. So, you know, obviously great for him. You can say that, you know, he's not the one who scored the points, but he is the one who put himself high enough so that 2 disqualifications would have, you know, given him points, which, you know, it depends on how you see it. But overall, a great run from the drivers today. Overall, it was a really interesting race to watch. A bit frustrating at times as well with those with the multiple lead changes throughout the race, but it was really an interesting race, and I'm excited to see how the next one goes. So stay tuned. I will be posting some more videos for it, and until then, have a good day.